It's Friday, y'all, and it's a silky situation. And today we're going to answer all your questions. Let's go. Yes, 33. We are here for another banging episode. It's Friday, y'all. And what I do today is answer questions. I get questions sent to me, and I also look online for questions, and I find the best questions for the moment. Y'all, thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank y'all for subscribing. Thank y'all for liking. I got a lot of comments yesterday. Y'all was really into my stuff yesterday, so I appreciate that. Keep showing me the love. Like I said, the more y'all pour in, the more y'all pour into me, the more I'm gonna pour into y'all. And 33 days in a row, I've been pushing out content. That is high level stuff. My numbers are doubling. My income is doubling on YouTube. It's amazing. Like, I'm watching the numbers and I'm literally breaking the algorithm. I'm like, you're gonna love me. I'm literally breaking into the algorithm, like by force, by storm. But let's hop right into it. This one is gonna be on YouTube, on my relationship, and on business. So we're gonna start with the first one. Since we're talking about how my numbers have doubled on YouTube, we're gonna talk about the question. Number one is, why did you start a YouTube? Well, for you guys to understand why, if you go back to my first video, I started on January 17th, 2023. The reason why I started, I wanted to document my journey of losing weight. And I found a prescription drug called Mounjaro, and I thought it literally, well, I still think it, but it's gonna change the world in terms of obesity, because it's a medicine that you can actually take, and it curbs your appetite. It makes you feel full all day long. And I was thinking to myself that I tried a bunch of different things, and the mechanisms, the way it makes you not hungry was so more realistic into making me believe it could work, that I was like, this is gonna change the world. So let me document so they can literally see me lose weight in real time. So on January 17th, I was like 325 pounds. And I said, I'm gonna literally document my whole weight loss. And I would put out a video once a week, just talking about my whole entire week of what I ate, the supplements I've taken, whatever. And I said, let me just start the YouTube. Let me just do it, you know? And I just did it. I recorded my first shot, everything live on YouTube. And that's really why I started. Obviously, my page evolved to my show and my podcast, but that's why I started. That's the original reason. And I knew that it was a niche, the Mounjaro. It was a niche because it was a very small audience for it at the time. Now it's become larger. And like, I can see I'm getting more views on my Mounjaro videos too now, because everybody's starting to take it. But it literally changed my life, and I wanted to document my weight loss, and that's why I started a YouTube. Hope that answers your question. Yes, what's the next one? Let's just go right into this. Oh, this one's spicy. This is a spicy one. When did you know Jessica was the one? When I met her on the staircase. And she knows what I'm talking about. But, you know, I started following her maybe like a year before I met her. And I didn't hit her up. I ain't hit it through the DM. I ain't do, you know. I was like, I'm going to see her in real life. I'm seeing her in real life. And I waited for that time. And the time was about a year later. And when I seen her, you know, I stopped her from leaving the event and caught her on the steps. And I said, yeah, where you going? We got to exchange information. And we exchanged information, and I knew she was the one the first day I sat down with her and started to have lunch with her. And it was a business lunch, and again, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna let her push the envelope. I didn't push the envelope, but I knew she was the one at that business meeting, because she talked about like her personal life. She talked about her loves, her interests, and her passions and things like that. And I just knew she was a very genuine person. And it was on from there. And one thing led to another, and now we engaged and have a kid, a 1-year-old. So that was that one. Number 3, what's the best way to market a podcast? So this is cool. This is a cool question, because I'm actually doing a podcast class tomorrow, I believe. I think that's the one I'm releasing tomorrow. and it's very sitting with this question. How do you market a podcast? There are a few ways. The first way I would say is put them out, right? And the second way, start to go on other people's podcasts. That's going to be a great way to get your name in the algorithm of the podcast world. When I go on a podcast and they say guest Michael J. McDonald, it's linked up to me. It's like, if you want to find out more about me, I have a podcast, Michael J. McDonald. Now I'm directly speaking to people that listen to audio platforms, right? So they'll say, oh, he has a podcast and I liked his interview. Let me go check him out, Michael J. McDonald. And then they check out your podcast. So that's a really good way as well. Another way is that you can do actually free, but you go to other podcasts, people that you know or people that's in the industry, or you use platforms that have that feature, but you can actually go to other platforms and say, listen, you do an ad for me for my podcast, I'll do an ad for you, and we cross promotion. That's a really great way, because you can actually go to someone's audience and they can share your audience basically. So it allows you to really like grow in a faster pace to grow your podcast. Another way is paid advertising. You can pay like on Spotify, on Audio Go. There's sites out there that you can actually pay for ads to promote your podcast. That's probably the last resort I'll use, because it could be a really pricey expense, especially when you're first starting out. You want to keep your costs down. Another way I would say is your friends. Do a text blast to all your friends and let them know you started a podcast. It's free. They're going to at least listen to the first one. They'll support you for the first one, but that's another way to promote your podcast. Another way is start collecting data. If you don't have an email list or a text list, you need to have a website or something where you can collect data and get people's information. So when you do release your podcast, you can email them and let them know that your podcast has come out. And depending on what the topics you're talking about, they may be interested in one of them where they may start listening to it. So those are a few ways to promote your podcast. It's many probably other ways that I can probably go through, but I think if you start with those few, I think that'd be a great foundation of growing your podcast in a great way, in a fast way. So hope that helped your question. What are some key considerations when crafting an effective cold email? So defining a cold email is emailing somebody that doesn't know you and you don't know them and they have no idea you're emailing them. That's a cold email. The first thing is going to be the subject line. You're going to have to attract them in the subject line. So depending on what they are, if they're a teacher or if they're a principal or a nurse or a real estate agent, the subject has to be very intimate to them. So let's say if it's real estate, right? And they're a real estate agent. You might want to say the first name, John. John, I just found a great way to get more leads. Right? First says his name, and you're explaining to him that you found a way to get more leads. Right? That might be the first step, right? He might look at it and say, oh, wait, he knows my name. Let me see who this is. Now, the next in that email is going to be very important, that you're trying to sell him because you have a service that you can provide leads. So the first thing is going to say, you're going to hopefully research them, right? And you're going to say what about his site or what about his agency, why he isn't getting a lot of leads, and explain to him how it could be more beneficial to his company if he did this or did this and did this. Basically adding value in the first two sentences. So now you got his attention. Listen, I know that you are doing this, but I think if you did this and this, it would help you with getting more leads. If you want to know more about this, I can be reached at such and such time. It's short, sweet, and to the point. You're telling them that how you can add value. You're explaining them, identifying the value that's needed with his personal brand. And then you're letting him know that you can contact. If you want to know more about what I'm talking about, you can contact me. Simple as that. That is going to be a higher conversion of converting those cold emails because you added value and you identify what his personal brand, and you also said his name in the subject line and also in the email. And you just said, listen, I know a way to get more leads. You know, it's like people are not going to just be turning their face to making money, you know, because that one email could change his whole entire business. Like, never know. I always tell people, even when I'm the people I'm mentoring and coaching, I always tell them that there's one thing you can change about your business and it could change the whole entire landscape of your business. You can go from making $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month with one thing you can change. It all depends on finding that one thing. And that's what it's about. So I think let's just focus on you can change that one thing in the email and explain to them how you can change it. I think that would help with them cold emails. Hopefully that answers your question. Boy, that was a fast one. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of good information in this in these questions though, because we talked about podcasting, we talked about my relationship, how I found love. We talked about YouTube, why I started YouTube, and you can go back to my first YouTube, it was January 17th, and we talked about emailing, marketing, a little bit of everything. I like that. That's definitely a dynamic questions video. So today's Friday, we do questions. If you want to send your questions in, email me, michael@michaeljmcdonald.com. If you want to know more about coaching programs and group coaching and anything like that, go to michaeljmcdonald.com. That's michaeljmacdonald.com. And if you want the hottest merch, go to Earn Your Leisure. You know the vibes. And if you want to get the education on a high level, go to EYL University. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm living. I hope y'all living it. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all.